Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey podcast, episode 235. Chris, how you doing?
The numbers keep getting bigger and bigger. I'm doing great. How are you?
That's a good thing. We're going the right direction. If they were going backwards, I don't know how that would work.
Episode -1, episode -2, episode -3.
There you go. How's you're not at home, are you?
No, I'm about
You're in the great state of Nevada. Welcome to Nevada, Chris.
I drove up yesterday. I'm visiting my mom. I'm in Reno right now, about 40 minutes from you, but
yeah.
I'm doing a little helping my mom around the house stuff going on right now. So
there you go. That's good.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of rain in the forecast, and I guess you got some snow up in the mountains.
We got some weather. I had to run over to Tahoe to pick up some stuff for the house, and it started snowing on me, and I'm towing the trailer. But I'll tell you, the new Falcon tires did very well.
Ooh, hashtag Falcon tires.
Yeah, it's that first rain and the road's all foamy and everything. And I was like, okay, I was being cautious, but no, it stuck to the road pretty good there.
You had the enclosed trailer, I imagine?
Enclosed trailer, that's exactly it because of the weather. And I'm so glad I did, or else that bed would be wet right now.
Nothing worse than a wet bed.
Yeah. Ozzy and Kelly would be sleeping on a wet bed next weekend. So.
Oh, shit. Are they back from Yosemite now?
I don't know. They're world travelers. They were in Dubai and, I don't know,
Dubai?
Australia.
I thought they were in Fiji or a bus about
that's
the
right.
B-side.
Bali. They were
Bali, Fiji, Bali. It's all the same.
I don't know. All those exotic places.
What are you drinking?
I've got I got that Leaper's Fork again, man.
Oh, it's so good.
Bottled in bond, and it is freaking delicious. I'm pissed at Ian Johnson for bringing me there because we need more of this now. So we're gonna have to. We're definitely got to get an order in on that Sealbacks.
I was down at Ben's Liquors yesterday when I picked up some Jack Daniels or Gentleman Jack for my cocktails, and they had Frey Ranch, but it was a barrel select for Ben's only, and it was $99 a bottle, but it was like 108 proof or something.
Ooh, nice.
It's a limit. I'm gonna probably go back tomorrow and pick one up.
So is that like a big? I haven't been there. I've heard of it, but I haven't been there. I've been to Lee's Liquors in Reno.
No, Ben's there's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them there. There's one just less than a mile away from my mom's place. So,
perfect.
Went in. It's so funny. I was in there yesterday picking up this stuff, and this guy jumped into the store just ahead of me in line, and he grabbed a bunch of Fireball, the little, airline bottles, airplane bottles. Like,
did you
6
slap
or 8
it out of his
things.
hand?
No, he just sort of threw him down on the count on the in front of the cashier in front of me, and he started literally pulling $1 bills out of his pocket and change, quarters, nickels, and dimes and pennies.
Was
and
it Tyler? Was it Tyler?
It didn't look like Tyler, unless Tyler was walking around on his knees.
Oh, jeez. He was short.
Right. He was average size. So, but anyway, it was just the guy was on a mission to get drunk, and he just was going to do it one way or another. I feel sorry for that guy. Terrible hangover this morning. I know, right? So,
yeah, sugar whiskey. No, thank you.
Oof, yuck.
Yeah.
So, yeehaw. Hey, so I see somebody else on the screen here. What is going on?
Yeah, so we've got a special guest for this podcast. We like to interview a bunch of racers there with especially KOH. Hammer's coming up here, and it will be here before we know it. I mean, I'm already seeing the countdown timers on the IG and stuff, and I feel for these people that are building their cars, putting them together, racing them,
banging and clanging,
banging and clanging, as you like to say, yes.
Burning the midnight oil.
Yeah. So we've got Jamie McKeen here from Ontario, Canada. I didn't even know the internet works there. How you doing, Jamie?
Not too bad. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for coming on the podcast with us. Welcome. And we're going to get into your race program here. And you are a KOH rookie. So welcome to KOH and all the shit show that it has to offer.
Looking forward to it.
So let's start out. How did you get into four-wheeling and off-roading stuff?
I've been involved in off-road most of my life. My dad, when I grew up, did truck pulls, hill climbs, and mud bogs.
Oh, cool.
So kind of been around it the whole time, and started in mud bogs myself, and then trail wheeling, and then got into competitive rock crawling, and now we're just picking up the pace a little.
Wow. So competitive rock crawling there in Canada?
Yeah, so we used to have the Ontario Rock Crawling Championships was actually partnered with We Rock.
Okay.
So
Cool.
could qualify for the We Rock Super Crawl, stuff like that. So yeah, I ran that 2 or 3 years, probably with a rig that had no business being there. But yeah, we were
What kind of rig was it?
It was a YJ based tube chassis with a big block on nitrous. So
The big
we were,
block. Big block and nitrous is a little overkill, Jamie. That's from the truck pull. Was that one of your truck pulling trucks or what?
Just
well,
send
we built it to try to get into top truck actually, and then
No kidding.
yeah,
The
yeah.
four-wheeler top truck that they had at Hollister. That was right in our backyard, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we were a second alternate in 07. So if somebody would have,
Oh, no
if
kidding.
2 people would have dropped out, we would have made it.
Oh.
But yeah, instead we went and bashed it up some rocks and just basically went to put on a show up here.
Okay.
So it was good.
That's interesting. That's cool. Wow, what a small world. So, okay, yeah. So we'll just fast forward right into KOH. So what? Just the natural progression, I guess, huh? Just like, hey, what we got to go do this KOH thing because it is the coolest one-day race out there.
Yeah, I've been a KOH fan since the start. Like obviously we were back on Pirate in the days, same as everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that got addicted to KOH. So yeah, back then we started watching. I actually built a truck in 2013 and ran a little bit of line mount and stuff like that with the intention to try and come, and that just kind of fell apart and we got away from the sport for a little bit. And then we built another truck in 19, came down, watched KOH.
Okay.
And then it was after that the world kind of fell apart with COVID. So
Yeah, it did.
And especially for traveling, out of country, even not just out of state. That made things even more difficult.
yeah, traveling, parts, local events. There's a local series up here that was run by TMR Customs. We ran a few events with them and tried to get the new truck blues out. And yeah, so we actually weren't intending to run this year, but then when the rookie program came along, I had friends that were in it last year. So that's kind of the motivator. We said now or never, and here we are.
Oh, good for you, man. Yeah, that's cool. So you've been to 2 KOHs in as a spectator?
Just one. 2019.
Just the one.
We were there.
And
Yeah.
you got hooked instantly.
Yeah.
What did you think? So that was, what year was that? 19, you said? 18? 19?
Yeah. Jason Shearer won that year.
Okay. All right.
In
Yeah.
19.
Jason Shearer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your impression coming from Canada? And I don't know how much you'd been in the States and stuff, but what was your impression of, you flew into, where'd you fly into?
We flew into Vegas, stayed
Vegas.
the night in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
Which is
made
kind of
the
a mind.
Yeah, we made the
blown thing,
hangover
too.
drive.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Get-
So we drove to the Hammers the next day, and then we were only there 3 days. We saw qualifying.
Okay.
It was kind of a fast in and out trip, so we didn't get the full experience. But
What,
yeah,
what kind
it
of
was-
rental car did you have, and did you send it through the desert?
We had a 4-door Jeep with the full insurance package.
Oh, perfect. There you
It wasn't a Chevy Malibu.
Yeah, we were making passes coming out Boone Road. I can say
Right
that.
on. Fucking Boone Road, yes. Yeah, so you pull onto that lake bed, and it's like, I mean, that's just a few years ago, and 60,000
Yeah.
plus race fans out there.
Yeah, just mind blowing. I had been to SEMA before, when you walk
Mm-hmm.
around SEMA and you see show cars, but everybody after I went to that event that's even remotely into off-road, I said, skip SEMA, go to King of the Hammers if you're into off-road.
Right.
You know, it's not only the competitors' rigs, the spectators, the stuff they're hauling in there is unbelievable.
There is something for everybody, all different kinds of builds, from like the guy shouldn't have bought a welder and he should have taken up another sport to people that are master craftsmen with melting metal together.
Heck yeah.
Some insane builds.
Mild to wild out there on the desert,
Yeah.
the lake bed, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, you never know what you're going to see, but you're going to see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some stuff you don't want to see.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah. And then the rookie program started last year, and we've become friends with some of the rookies from last year. And man, what a solid program. And last year we were like really kind of blown away with what they rolled out for the rookies. And this year it was even better, I understand. So let's talk about your experience. And you brought your car out, right, to this year to KOH, the rookie program?
When we were down there, we didn't bring our car, but a friend of ours that was racing Havasu had his down there. We got to beat up on Dave Cole's Can-Ams a little bit. And,
Okay.
There you go.
Got to jump in with a couple drivers too. Went for probably the ride of my life with Chuck Crosland.
Oh
Oh,
no.
shit.
Fucking Chucky.
Oh yeah.
Oh, boy.
That guy's an animal.
Oh my gosh.
Captain Send It right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the wait, he's got a supercharger on that thing. That
twin
thing's putting
turbo.
out- twin turbo. That's it. Twin turbo.
Yeah. 1,200
yeah.
horsepower.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
silly.
It's got
Yeah,
a-
so he has a dial in the
ridiculous.
cab. He keeps it dialed back around 900 horsepower, and then he can turn it up 4 more pounds of boost on the fly and pull 1,200.
Oh, that's so good.
probably got a
Oh
flux,
yeah.
flux capacitor on that thing too, I
Yeah.
bet.
It's incredible, man. I don't know how he sees coming out of the corner. It's like a boat coming up on plane when he hits the throttle.
Really, just you're looking up at the sky.
Exactly. It's all blue. Well, I was on a night run with him, so it was all
Oh
stars.
no. Oh no. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay.
We were going over to look at I believe it was Jackhammer at night, just to kind of have a talk, night run and stuff. And Bailey Cole come along and asked somebody who wanted to go for a fun ride, and one of the other guys went and they said, who's feeling up for a really fun ride? And I stuck my hand up, and that's where I was in with
You got paired up with Chucky. Oh
Yeah.
boy, that's awesome. That's cool. Well, that's cool that especially the logistics of. I was wondering if you brought your car out, and I was like, man, to get travel from Canada into the States and then get down to Southern California, that's quite a haul.
That's a commitment.
yeah, it's about 50 hours on the road for us.
Oh shit!
How many
It's a
hours?
haul.
Freaking hours, 50
50.
hours.
50.
That's more than you work a week, Chris.
Yeah, probably.
It's definitely more than I work a week.
Logistically, it's gonna be interesting come race time. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's so many. They always say, "Oh, half the fun's getting there." Well, holy hell, we've talked to these racers. We follow them on IG, and it's like fucking trailer tires blowing out.
Oh, yeah.
A turbo going in their Dodge pickup. Because Fords are fine. If you got a Ford
No.
pickup, you're going to make it no problem to
No.
to the Hammer.
I've heard of many Fords breaking down on the way to KOH. Dude,
No, but it's the trials and tribulations of just getting to the racetrack.
Yeah.
And especially, if you got a new car and all this stuff and you're working everything out, and then, you're like, some stupid little injector or whatever is not working, and you're like, okay, we got to go right now. We got to get this thing on the trailer, and you're working on it on the way down to the Hammers. Anyways, hopefully that's not your situation. Hopefully everything goes smooth there, but 50 hours is quite the journey.
well, just out of
we're just praying
curiosity.
for good weather.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's a big
That's
big
the
thing
other
there, too.
thing. Yeah, dealing with stuff. I mean,
Canada.
that's what I had to deal with today, and it wasn't like icy, frozen tundra of Ontario, Canada.
Right.
At least it's a little bit earlier this year, so maybe that'll help. I don't know.
Yeah, middle of January,
Not
leaving
by
here,
much.
coming down through Chicago and everything. I mean, it's going to be interesting. We're hoping to
Yeah.
get to Oklahoma the first day,
Okay.
which is
Wow.
about 16 hours.
Oh my God. And you got a couple different drivers, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Well,
and we're
what-
hauling. We're going to have 3 trucks coming, so
Okay.
hauling, a couple pre-runners, side-by-side tools, and then I wasn't going to bring it, but then listening to your guys' podcast about cooking and having inside trailer and stuff like that, we're bringing the enclosed down, basically setting it up as a driver's lounge. So
Perfect.
We're going to drag that
Perfect.
down with us too.
Now, do you have a garage pit in Hammertown?
So what they're doing is really cool for the rookie camp. We haven't obviously seen anything yet, but from description, they're setting up a rookie compound this year. So they're
Very
going to pair
cool.
any of the rookies that want to be together, and then they're going to give us a central garage area with workshops. And a few of the rookies are working on, organizing tools, everything like that. So we can kind of dial it back a bit on what we have to bring.
Yeah, you don't have to bring everything. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there'll be a community garage.
pool-
We're going
pool
to get
your
our own
resources.
garage space too.
That's
Exactly.
awesome. What a great, again, they just keep stepping this thing up, and that makes world a whole lot easier. And plus, I mean, all the people you met down there that are now your new best friends that are racing and in the same boat you are, right? That your guys are figuring it out together, and I'm sure you got your text streams and your groups that you're emailing to and asking questions and all that. I mean, the resources just insane compared to before when people just, okay, I'm going to go race KOH and I'm going to figure it out. So
Right.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, really. Like, you got to realize last year when they did the rookie program, they were originally just trying to get one rookie, and that's what they were going to select. And then, out of all the applications, they ended up taking everybody. So they're a little more prepared for it this year.
Yeah.
So it's been really good, and all the drivers we've met and everything are phenomenal. So everybody's offering to help or share tools or share resources. We got some different ideas because we're coming down from basically never seeing the hammers. Like, we've seen a couple trails and stuff like that, so we're probably coming over prepared. But I don't think that's possible for the
I
hammers.
was going to say, I don't
We'll see
think
how it
that's
goes.
possible,
No.
but that's good. So talk about the rookie program. So you guys show up on the lake bed, stay at Dave's compound there, and
Badass.
and yeah, just kind of walk us through how it went this year for you guys and what you did on day 1, day 2.
Yeah, so the last program we went to was 2 parts. The all rookie weekend was the Saturday and Sunday, and then you could choose to stay for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for forging hammers.
Okay.
The all rookie weekend was really good. There was a lot of presentations, a lot of speakers, round tables, stuff like that. Like, everybody from Jason Shearer was there, Cody Wagner, Randy Slauson, just the gamut of guys you'd want to talk to if you could get in a room.
Couple 3-time kings there that you could pick their brain.
Yeah. And they stuck around too. Like, we weren't sure how it was going to work being, coming down. We're like, okay, how much information are we going to get? Try and take as many notes as you can. But I'm of the opinion you always learn more in a long form conversation than you do, ask them 1 or 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
So they stuck around with, having beers with all of them, and you learn just as much there as you do in the Q&A sessions and stuff like that. So it was really good.
Pretty cool how approachable they are too, right? I mean, it's like, you maybe follow them on Instagram or whatever, and you kind of have this preconceived notion of, let's just say Jason Shearer, and then you actually meet him in person, and you're like, dude, this guy's totally chill, and 3-time king, but yeah, and he's willing to share his knowledge. That's what's so cool about this sport of ours here, and hammers in particular. It's like, hey, we're willing to help you guys out. Get involved.
Yeah.
Let's grow this thing.
It really is. Like, those guys are unbelievable. Jason Shearer actually remembered us from the finish line when he won in 19.
No way.
Yeah, we were right there when he pulled off the V-Box. So, he come in. He obviously didn't know our names or anything, but he's like, I recognize you guys. So,
That's cool.
yeah, pretty cool. I mean, the guy meets thousands of people, a year, and it's pretty cool. He's got to remember something like that. But yeah, those guys, man, they want to beat you on the course. They whatever they can do to get you there. They want you out there. And they were willing to share a lot of information, stuff that, you would ask some guys. If it was, I've done all kinds of different kinds of racing, most other sports. You ask somebody about their setup, and you get told to go to another pit.
Right. So, move along.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Go ahead.
Randy Slauson was right down to he runs his car's pretty sparse. I mean, everybody knows that. I was surprised he's only running like a 32-gallon cell. And he was sharing information like his fuel mileage in the rocks, which was surprisingly, he thought it was worse in the rocks than it was in the desert. I think that's probably weight related with his car.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy's there to win and nothing else. He's not hauling a bunch of spares. He's not hauling tools, and he doesn't even understand just going to finish if you talk to him about that.
It's different, right? Where, Shear's team is like hyper calculated. I mean, they are figuring everything out to the nth degree. They go out, they get the car, they go test and tune, do all that stuff, Thanksgiving, go back out there and get everything dialed in right before Hammers. While they're at Hammers, they're pre-running, marking the maps, doing everything, right? And it's like, okay. And then they get the car ready for qualifying, and put themselves in the pole position, which they've been very successful at doing over the years.
Yep.
And then the car goes back in the pit and gets torn down, and
completely
new tranny goes in. It's like, holy hell! I mean, this is the epitome of a badass what you would textbook A+ race program, right? And then you got a guy like Randy freaking Slauson that's like the everyman that knows how to, put a car together, knows how suspension works, knows all the stuff that the Shear team knows. Obviously has proven himself because he's won 3 times. But minimalistic, right? Like, I know what works. I know how to freaking drive. I'm not afraid to freaking lay into this thing to win. I'm going to do what it takes to win. Attitude. And, there's just different ways of getting there, right? And, of course, having a little luck on your side that everything holds together and, some stupid little 10-cent part doesn't take you out of the race. But, that had to be pretty cool to hear the different aspects of, how people, those guys approach KOH.
Yeah, like talking to Randy, like he plans for a mistake-free day. That's that he's planning on driving perfect, and that's how he approaches it. Like, he's not planning for the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario for him is coming in second. Like, that's how he looks at it. It's a pretty crazy mentality.
Yeah, and you know what? He finished 5th last year, 7th. He was right there. I think 5th, right?
I think so. He was in the top 10 for sure.
He was in the top 10, and I'm like, that's right there when he crossed the stage, and I'm like, dude, that's freaking awesome, But once you've won, and once you've won 3 times, ain't nothing.
Yeah.
You got to win. It's all or nothing. Checkers or wreckers, right? And it wasn't that he was pissed. He was glad that he was there and finished the race and all that, but you can tell these guys are just operating at a different freaking level. And then, we talked to all the different racers, and we talked to guys that, unfortunately only went 11, 12 miles, and their race weekend was over with. And, they would have given their left nut to be 5th place on that stage, So
for sure.
It's just different levels of,
Oh, yeah. I was talking
Randy
to guys
was there.
down there.
Yeah, go ahead.
We were having beers, and I was talking to guys, and I said, there's basically 3 different races going on down there. There's the guys racing to finish, trying to survive, get the car to the finish line.
Yep.
There's the guys racing to win, and then there's those 3 guys with the drive for 4. They're running their own race. They want to be the first one with 4, and that's all they're worried about.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's very well said. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So what was one of the big or a couple takeaways, whatever struck you that kind of gave you an aha moment when you were sitting there listening to the presentation that first weekend before you got out on some of the trails and stuff?
A lot of the stuff was, they covered everything from trying to get sponsorships.
Cool.
There was Brent Gagaber was there.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking, because he used to deal with sponsorships when he was with Four Wheel Parts. Now he's with King of the Hammers, right? So they were talking about sponsorship presentations, everything. Just a lot of information to get you ready to even start thinking about coming. And then they got into stuff about the race itself, which logistically for us is completely unknown. I mean, you might as well tell us we're going to the moon. And a lot of the drivers there have been to the Hammers. They've been local, or there's a lot of rookies that are from not very far away. So they've wheeled the Hammers plenty. We're probably the biggest definition of a King of the Hammers rookie in the program.
Wow.
We've never put tires on it till that weekend. So just some of the stuff they were talking about that was probably inherently just knowledge of the area, geographical, and then stuff like they expanded on it once we got out on the road, but the colors of the sand and what to watch for in that. And things like, now I watch a GoPro footage and you can completely see it, but rolling through the corners and not coming through the corners like a hero, trying to slide the ass end of the car around. And then all of a sudden you're down 2 tires because you're out there slicing your tires in hidden sand. So hidden rocks and stuff in the sand. So just a mountain of information. They covered, I probably took 6 pages of notes while I was there. And then, everything about getting ready, what you think you're going to get when you get there, expectation pit wise, stuff like that, and what to be ready for. We talked about where to put your good guys as far as which pit to put them in. They covered the whole gamut of information. Any question you could ask, it was there to be answered. And if
it was fair game,
whoever was doing the speaking couldn't answer, I mean, Bailey Cole was there, and Chuck was there, Brad Goodfellow was there. Like, all these guys were there, and they would come up with an answer for you. Anything that you wanted to know, they just, if it wasn't part of the round table you were speaking at there, they would just come find us later, and we'll go over that.
That's cool. That's really great to hear. So then, first couple days you were getting the presentations and stuff at the ranch, and then I gotta imagine nighttime. You're hanging out around the fire pit and meeting fellow rookies, meeting drivers, meeting everybody, right? And you're just like soaking this whole thing in.
Yeah, the first day we were one of the first ones there. We got there, we ran a motorhome, flew into LAX, grabbed a motorhome, and then drove out. And then first night we were one of the first ones there, and we walked in, and I hadn't met him yet, but Chris Ridgway was there. That guy's incredible. But he was there with Dave Cole, and so we were just checking out the rigs. JR's original winner is there, so
isn't that
we were
cool?
checking that out.
The Bronco.
And we grabbed a couple beer and went over and sat by the picnic table where Dave and Chris were shooting pool. And Dave Cole's a pretty good pool player, but I play some pretty competitive pool myself.
Oh, nice.
So Dave didn't know that at the time and just happened to ask me if I shot any pool. And then, so that's what we spent the next hour and a half. Dave going to round up people for me to beat up on a pool table.
I was going to say, did you school him real quick?
Yeah. I beat Dave 3 or 4 games, and then I probably ran 3 or 4 racks after that on different guys that came through. So
that's awesome. Little hidden talent. I love that.
Was there money on the table?
There was not. That's what Dave Cole said. He said, first he goes, your name's going over the table as banned. And then I said, oh, I thought you put it up there as Dave's partner. And he just laughed and said, I like that better. But wow. Yeah, he said, you wrecked this, man. You should have waited till Sunday to show that talent. You would have got some money.
Oh,
and
shit.
I just responded with him. I said, it's not in me, man. If I can win, I'm going to win. And he said, I like that, and walked away.
Right on. pretty cool, the compound there, right? I mean, that's quite the setup. They got dialed in there with that shop, and it's a great place to hang.
Yeah, it's a cool area. There was, I think at its peak, there was almost 90 people there that weekend.
Wow.
Between rookies and presenters, and Dave brought in. There was 2 cooks that stayed there all weekend. So I mean, we were coming in. Breakfast was ready, and lunch, and like I ate better there than I ate at home. It was incredible.
Yeah, they got the nice commercial kitchen there.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, Chris and I finally made it out there this year, this KOH. We'd heard about it and all that stuff. Finally made it out there and got to check it out. And the choppers are flying in and out for KOH, which was another element that was super cool. I don't know what it is about a helicopter, but helicopters are fucking badass. So got to talk to the pilots and stuff and the hammer guys. And just, they were refueling. I don't know, just another aspect of the event that the general public doesn't get to see every day. And, and then, there's guys wrenching in the shop trying to fix their shit.
Right.
God, I can't think of the name of the team that rolled during qualifying. They bent.
with the throttle stuck.
Yes.
Yeah,
and so
that was crazy.
So they were in there, cutting that tube out on the chassis and welded in a new tube. And, there was a shit ton of people working on that car. And it's just, so cool. All the different backstories.
Did you get to go for a ride around the shock tuning loop when you were there?
I did not.
That's where Chuck took me at 70 mile an hour in the black.
Okay. That's good. Oh my gosh.
We got done and Chuck says, "How was that?" I said, "Fun now that we're stopped."
Yeah. You're holding on for dear life.
Right.
Does he have an oh shit handle in there? He's got a little T-bar, right, to grab onto?
Yeah. I don't know, man. All my years, I've always just held the harnesses.
You're just holding the
It's
harness.
the safest spot for your hands.
That is the safest spot. Your arms aren't flying around and everything. Yeah, that's good. All right.
Agreed.
That's what Chris does in my buggy, and we're only going like 6 miles an hour.
Or
Especially with Chuck, we were halfway through, and Chuck goes, "I forget this part," and I'm like, "You're driving from memory, man," because we got comms, and we come into the last whoop section a little bit sideways, and I don't know. The ass end of the truck was trying to pass the front, but Chuck wasn't lifting, so we're like, "Well, he knows how to drive, so I'm trusting him."
You got an e-ticket ride with Chucky. That's freaking great.
It was pretty cool.
So okay, and then so you stayed for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of what'd you call it? Forging the Hammers?
Forging hammers is what they call it.
Okay, Forging Hammers. And so you talk about that.
Yeah, so that was a little bit of round table stuff too, but more practical out on the trail. Like we went out. You guys know Jeremy Jones?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That guy's an incredible wealth of information and very good at what he did out there. But he took us through Resolution. We went to Sledgehammer, Chocolate Thunder, and then we did a couple desert loops with him. And then whipped across the lake bed. So the whole way, like he would stop and show us stuff to watch for, and showed us the plaque line and things to do.
That's cool.
So he was super cool to be out with. He just had his pre-runner out there because he was racing Havasu that next weekend.
Okay, sure.
But even though that guy's racing for a national title,
the
last race of the year, and he's out there spending. He was 3 days with us out there.
Wow.
On race week. It was like we were so grateful to have him. He's very good at explaining stuff and breaking things down, and he knows his truck so well. I think he was probably the second day at the end of the day before I heard one of his axle tubes touch a rock.
Oh, really?
Because he just knows that truck.
I've got to imagine it's rewarding for them too. Like they're passionate about the sport. And to be able to be in a position to, give their knowledge as best they can to pass it along to, the rookies. I mean, there's got to be something cool about that. I got to imagine in them, too. It's not like work for them, right? Like they're enjoying it as much as you guys are. I gotta imagine.
Oh yeah, like we did there was a Warren recovery, kind of round circle with Brad Goodfellow.
Okay.
And, like he was showing us how to splice rope and different knots and stuff, and running pulleys and everything. A lot of stuff I knew from rock crawling, but a lot of stuff I didn't know. Like I'd never spliced a rope. I thought it was way harder than it was. He showed us how to do it in like 30 seconds. And then we had to go out to backdoor and we had a winching competition out there with all the rookies. And so that was pretty cool. It was just a timed, run your winch line up and get pressure on a rock, and then they'd shut the time off.
Okay.
I think it was more just to see who'd get up there without falling down, but
sure.
it was good.
What did you think of the trails? And like you just mentioned backdoor, I don't know how dug out it was, because that varies from storms. It'll fill in and it's like not terrible, and then it goes to fully dug out to like it's a freaking wall.
Yeah, it was. So when we were there in 19, that was one of the spots we went to watch.
Okay.
Just because, when you don't know the area, Chocolate Thunder and Backdoor are the two closest things you can get to.
Right there next to camp, yeah, Hammertown.
So that's pretty much where we were. And I would say it's probably, when we were there, it was about half as deep as I seen it in 19.
Wow.
Like it's
okay.
The deepest spot's 6 feet maybe to the top.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it was, you could still see the lines and everything burned in at that top part. What was interesting is getting to go up that even by foot and look at resolution. Because when you've never been there, you can look at a map all you want, but knowing how that geographically flows, we were talking, I said, it's no different than, when we were younger playing video games. The more laps you did, the better you learned it, right? So
right.
It was, that's why I was talking to the local guys even that have never raced. Like, at least I have some racing experience, but they've never raced. I'm like, I would say they're probably, for the Hammers race specifically, they're probably ahead of where we're at.
Wow. And I got to imagine you've watched like YouTube videos of Hammers trails and stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
And obviously the races there.
Yeah. And after that weekend, you watch, it's pretty neat because I went back and watched like Shannon's first lap from last year is on the GoPro footage. I went back and watched that, and it was kind of neat to be able to go recognize something rather than just go, well, it all looks crazy.
Right.
And
but to physically be there, walk the trails, drive the trails, and go, okay, this is legit, and then rocks are moving underneath you and stuff. I don't know if the rocks move in Canada or if they're like cemented in or not from the frozen
covered
tundra.
In greasy loon shit is what they are. It's one of the things we noticed down there is like down here, if you can't make a climb, you're breaking traction. We back up the full wheelbase and we, stuff it to the floor, and that's how we bump stuff. Because you've already tried everything. You're not going to find traction that's not there up here.
Yeah.
So down there, even if Jeremy get held up a little bit, like he'd back up maybe half a tire and just roll into it slightly, and I'm like, okay, we can keep our truck together.
Yeah.
Driving like this. As long as I can keep my brain together.
Right. Well, there is, I mean, as I'm sure you guys talked about down there, there's the vehicle, but there's a huge mental aspect, right? And then mechanical sympathy for your rig, knowing your rig inside and out, and like, how hard can I push this rig? Like you experienced with Crossland. He's like, well, I could go a little bit more here or whatever. So,
yeah. There was a lot of emphasis on nutrition as well. Obviously just trying to keep from getting dehydrated and running out of energy.
That's one of my favorite questions, is to ask the drivers what their dinner consists of the night before Hammers. There's people like super conservative, and then there's people that are like, fuck it, I'm having Kentucky Fried Chicken and mac and cheese and jalapeno this, and I'm like, all right, whatever, guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't be eating the burritos we were having down there the night before. I know that.
So talk about your rig. We got to learn what are you building? What do you got? How did this car evolve?
Yeah, we're gonna run. We had a chassis we put together, like I said, over COVID. We finished it, and it's a TMR Customs chassis. So we're gonna run the 4400 class, and it's got
all in, baby.
Yeah. We were already set up here, and the thing is, once you're running horsepower and bypasses and stuff's kind of hard to get away from. So
yeah,
we considered dropping down a class, going single shock, and but we're like, we already know how the truck works this way.
Perfect.
So yeah, and it's got a Blueprint engines LS 427 with a Reed Turbo 400 behind it.
Okay.
Atlas race case, and then we actually just worked out a deal. We're with Radflow Shocks now, so
sweet.
They're building us some 4.2 bypasses right now, and we're going from our 2.5 to a 3-inch, and then so that'll make a big difference. Wayne from Alltech was down there.
Okay.
So got talking to him a bit and just got a little bit more advice and ordered the shocks when we got back. And so yeah, I would say our only, the only spot we're kind of falling off a bit is we're running 14 bolts, front and rear RCV shafts. So
well,
not running a high-end fabricated shaft, but I've been making 14 bolts live under big power for quite a while. So
I was gonna say 14 bolts are pretty damn bulletproof. They're big, they're heavy, but that's not a bad axle to run out there at the hammers, because they will. You could bash those things on the rocks all day long, and they'll just laugh at it. So you'll break some rocks with those 14 bolts.
Parts are plentiful too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure originally. Everybody's running Gearworks and stuff. I said we might have to rip something out of someone's tow truck down here. But
the Ford F450 down there or something. Yeah. Yeah. No, I run a 14 bolt front steer axle in my buggy, so. I love the 14 bolt, man. That thing's it's cool. It's sexy. It's big. It gets the job done.
It's beefy.
Yes, sir. That's what I ran in that big block on nitrous with a 6,000 pound Jeep for years.
Yeah.
And
6,000 pound rig. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, and I don't know what the race truck's going to race ready. I mean, it's by the time we loads up some spares and stuff like that. Like I said, we'll probably put too much on it, but. I don't know. I'd rather be able to fix it if I can.
Well, and that's the thing, and that's one of my other favorite questions, other than what do you eat the night before hammers. But it's like, what tools do you carry? Because there's some guys that are super minimalistic, and then there's other guys that, they're like our trail rigs that are freaking got welders and all kinds of shit on there, and it's like, man. Like I love the saying by Ultra 4 Jones, Kevin Jones, ounces make pounds. And there's something to be said about that in a race car. Trail rigs, different story, but ounces make pounds. I love that saying. So you got to find that happy medium, whatever that is. But you got some big axles, so you could carry. You can load her up a little bit.
Load up some extra weight. It just it's like anything. It's always a 10-cent part that tries to take you out. But
and then you find yourself
accessories worry me a little bit.
Yeah.
So try and. Probably have an extra steering pump and starter, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that's small. It might weigh a little bit, but you can find a spot to hide it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can always strap something to Burger's back as he's running back to camp or something, so.
That's what I was going to say. It's like you want to find yourself in a position where you are your fitness level, doing the CrossFit training, getting yourself your cardio work in and whatnot. But, at some point you might find yourself hoofing it across the desert back to, remote pits or even main camp to grab some gas or a part or a bolt or who knows what.
I think there'll be a best of 7 rock, paper, scissors game going on if that's going to happen.
So, yeah, talk about your co-driver. So who's your co-driver, and have you guys been friends for a long time, or how's that all?
Yeah, my co-driver's actually my brother-in-law, Chris Knight.
Okay.
He spotted for me when we were competing in rock crawling. After he ran that Jeep for a while, he built a 4-wheel steer crawler and competed, Roush Creek and up here and stuff. So he was spotting me with that. And he's got background in motocross. He races as well. So, I mean,
that's cool.
We got a pretty good communication set already. back of rock crawling, he always wanted. I'd try and keep him in the truck to get the spotter ride points, and he wanted out. So I don't know how that's going to go during this race. But we'll see.
It's as Chris knows, ins and outs of the race cars are not easy, just physically. And then you've got all your gear, right? You got your 5-point harness, you got your helmet, you got your pumper, you got your comms, all that shit to
Hans
hook up.
device.
The Hans device, all this shit. I mean, it's somebody that's never done it before doesn't understand, but. Just getting in and out of a regular rock crawler is effort, and then you got all that gear, the safety gear on. Yeah, Chris is like thumbs down, 1 star, do not recommend. But it's crazy, and especially in a race setting where you got people on your ass and you're stuck, and you got to get a winch, pull a winch line or whatever, and it adds to the whole deal.
Racing can make tying your shoes hard.
Right. Yeah, well said.
It's crazy. They actually had us do exit and entry competition while we were down there too.
Oh, did they really?
Really?
Yeah. So they all put us in the same rig. It was actually, I think it was the monkey with a knife car.
Okay.
Oh my God, monkey with a knife.
Brian's car. So we used that car. So everybody had the same car, and then they just timed us. We had to, unbuckle, get the wheels off. Window nets down, jump out of the car, run around, get back in the same side, get buckled up, hands up. And so it was interesting. There's one young rookie there. Yeah, there's one young rookie there. I think he's a parkour champion because he jumped in the window.
Oh, did he really? Parkour.
Oh, yeah. The rest of us looked at each other and went, it's over.
Yeah.
Did Bailey Colden
about a week.
Bailey Colden run that series from the water evacuation?
Oh,
there?
shit. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
I did. I love Bailey.
Bailey's great.
So
Bailey's a good guy. I actually got a chance to spot a bunch of guys through King's Veto with Bailey.
really, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. A bunch of the rookies were up on top of the hill, and I don't know. I'm one of those guys I can learn just as much spotting a guy through the rocks as I can driving.
Sure.
That's one thing people don't understand watching the race trucks that don't race. Your visibility is terrible. You're driving 50, 60 feet ahead. So they see you put a diff into a rock and they're like, oh, what's he doing? It's like, well, he saw that rock 50 feet and 6,000 RPM ago. So
yeah,
things change.
No. Yeah, absolutely right. It is, and that's what's so cool about this Hammers race too, is you've got fast, high speed desert stuff, and then slow rock crawling. Well, some of these guys don't go so slow.
No, relatively slow is relative, right? But I mean,
it really is.
At the same time, I mean, you could be, if you're in on a rock trail, whatever trail it might be, you might be following another car, and that car is changing the trail as in real time, right? So by the time you get to the same location, it might be a different line that you have to take because you're just going to get hung up on something or God knows what. Yeah. So it's a work in progress all the time. Yeah,
the rock's shifting up there, it's funny because the guys down there, we kept talking about how much traction there was, and they're like, oh, there's loose sand, there's not always traction, but compared to what we're used to, there's all the traction in the world down there.
You got traction, yeah.
So, but with that, they can kick a tire size rock out because there's enough grip, where we're sliding on them up here, they're pushing those rocks out of the way, and I don't know, I feel like my biggest concern going down was trying to survive the desert. I mean, the desert's gnarly. So I was asking every desert question I could. Even Chris Ridgway was such an asset for that. He wasn't one of the speakers or anything, but he was around the whole time and sitting talking to him. And that guy should write a book. But he's, he taught us about watching for drainage coming off the certain mountains. Like, here's how you watch for cross drain, stuff like that. You got to make sure you're going to check up in this area. And a lot about, rolling through the corners, stuff like that. And Jeremy Jones was good about that too. Like, don't go be out there and be a hero in the desert. But
right.
I don't know, man. You see that dust in front of you. It's hard. Like, we snowmobile a lot, and snow dust is the same as sand dust. You want to catch it.
If you, yeah, and then visibility, right? So it's like, I mean, I just experienced it this last weekend. I was on this veterans ride, we're out in the Nevada desert here in Fernley, and it's just a consistency of talcum powder, just this flour, and it just literally couldn't see the front bumper on the rig, and it was like, oh my God. I had a KOH veteran next to me that races side-by-sides and stuff, Jay Barry, and I go, dude, this gives me freaking anxiety driving through this shit because you don't know how close the car is in front of you, where they're at. You just see a wall of dust, and it's like, you got to trust the process and your GPS and your co-dog that's telling you go, go, go. But obviously we were going slow. It wasn't a fast, high-speed race situation, but I was like, no, this is not me. I do not like the go fast shit, and especially if I can't see. So, but it's crazy. Just it gave me a little insight of what these racers go through out in the desert out there at KOH, especially. So,
yeah, one of the times we were out, they had talked in one of the presentations about driving by lights, which we've done that. Like I said, snowmobiling for years, so we're kind of used to that, but. When they were talking about the different color lights, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's different. So one of the times coming back in a fairly smooth section, we tucked in behind one of the race cars, and we had the Can-Am. And we all had, we had masks and everything on, so we were somewhat protected. I don't think you're ever not sucking the dust in, but...
Right.
So we tucked in behind the race truck at like 50 mile an hour, and a bunch of the other rookies are like, what is he doing? But I wanted to see how these lights spaced out, so...
Okay.
We were like... I figure we were maybe 40 feet away when we could see the ambers.
Mm-hmm. No kidding.
The blues were about 20 feet, and you couldn't see the reds till you were inside 10 feet.
Oh, God.
Wow.
And that was, we were doing the same pace. So imagine catching somebody at race pace. By the time you see amber, you're better be piling on the brakes.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Sure. So that was good information to know,
That's cool.
One of the other things we learned in the desert, I would have never found this out on my own other than by accident. And I believe it was Jeremy Jones told us when you get going through the whoop section and the ass end of the car starts getting loose side to side, which, that could be at 70 mile an hour, 80 mile an hour, whatever. Just depends if you catch the rhythm wrong. Just a little bit of brake drag, and that settles right down and the car straightens right out. And we tested it on one of the Can-Ams. We came back through that Fox wash where Fox does their
the testing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we come back through that, and I was driving that time, so I'm like, I'm going to wind this thing up till it doesn't feel good and see how that works. So, we weren't going too fast. It was maybe 55, but in a 4-seat Can-Am with 3 of us in it. And
sure.
Soon as you felt the ass end of that thing get a little loose behind you, the slightest little drag on the brake, and that car settled down and did it straight, and it did it again.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Just lightly hit the brakes.
Incredible tip. Just a little bit of brake drag, and it's incredible how fast it calmed down.
And a little bit counterintuitive of what you would think. You would think maybe you give it more throttle or something, right?
Yeah,
but it's
if
just,
the back of your car is catching the front, more gas, probably.
Yeah, right.
That's the rock crawling experience anyway. Right?
Yeah, when in doubt, throttle out, man. That's one of my mantras. Oh, shit.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was incredible to feel. You could feel it right away.
So I got to imagine... coming into this event, the rookie program, you had some expectations. And then, the first couple of days, you get settled in and all, listening to all these different, drivers that you followed over the years or watched KOH. And then you go out on these trails and actually get some firsthand experience out on the trails. I mean, I gotta imagine you kind of mind blown. You're like, oh, I want to make sure I get this and that covered. But at the end of the event, you're probably like, holy crap, I just learned way more, and stuff I didn't even know about, like you were talking about the lights and stuff and just hitting the brakes on, to slow the car down, stuff that you never would have dreamed of knowing or thinking about. And how much better prepared are you now and more confident going into this race?
Yeah, like that's the whole thing with the rookie program is you're literally getting years, decades of experience from drivers that have been there and done it. And like every driver stressed out, they're like, guys, we had to learn all this the hard way. So, and they're willing to share it. And, when we signed up for the program, it's kind of funny. You get, I think everybody kind of does it for a different reason why they're in the program. You get the guys, they're just looking how to get sponsors or think the program's going to help them get sponsors or whatever. Man, I'm like, that's not what it's about. It's this weekend down at Dave's Ranch to me should be mandatory for the program. It's one of our so there was 8 of us there from Ontario, Canada.
Oh wow!
Oh really?
And yeah, I think we have 7 teams going down this year in all different classes.
Oh, that's cool.
And one of the guys that didn't come shot me a message. He's like, hey, it looks like you're having a great time down there because we're sharing on IG and Facebook and stuff. I said, yeah, man, we're still here. I got 2 more days. And he's like, oh, well, what all did you learn? And I just kind of chuckled. I'm like, man, I said thousands of things and I can't explain any of them through text. Like, it's just, you got to be there.
You missed out.
You can pick up little tidbits like the stuff I'm telling you guys, but
Sure.
there's stuff down there once we get in the truck, I'm going to just remember from doing it. And yeah, I don't know if you're ever prepared for King of the Hammers, but definitely a little less intimidated.
Well, and it's got to help. It's got to help with just totally blindsided by rolling in Boone Road, and not even. I mean, I can't imagine somebody racing that's never been set foot at Johnson Valley.
Yeah.
Right.
And then regardless of the 80,000 frickin' people that are out there when you roll in Boone Road, and then
they're all trying to help you too.
Right. And then you got, these racers that you aspire to be or look up to or whatever that through YouTube and social media or whatever's going on, and it's like, holy hell, there's so many different inputs coming in at KOH. But now you're like, hey, I got the lay of the land. I got some good info behind me. I got some great intel. And, you're not coming in blind by any means. And probably even more excited about the event, too, I would imagine.
Yeah, super, super pumped for sure. It's not... I don't know if do you guys know Courtney Prost that runs the program?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Courtney stresses so much, the program starts with a couple Zoom calls and, the first couple are all people asking questions that have nothing to do with what you're doing yet. But
right.
So you get through those and then you get down there and she's got everything scheduled out that whole 5 days was minute by minute. Here's what we're doing. Here's who's speaking. Here's what we're covering. So you could be prepared. Sometimes the people would be there we didn't expect. So I'd have to go down and write some questions down because I'm like, oh, I want to ask. Wayne from Alltech was going to be there, and because of our deal with Radflow, and we were getting ready to, order bigger bypasses and an extra tube and stuff. I had some questions for Wayne, and then Wayne did a mini tune session for 3 drivers that were down there. And, just calculate. That guy's incredible. He's a human calculator, He kept saying during his presentation, now write this down. And I'm like, why? I'm going to come see you when I get here.
Right. I can't do anything with this information. Yeah. It's an art, man. It's an art.
It is.
Some of this stuff,
Yeah. That guy's an incredible wealth of knowledge, and funny guy too. So that's all good. Everybody was a good humored person, and it was a really good group.
That's our sport, right? You got to have some sense of humor to send a car through the freaking desert like these racers do, and just
or sense of humor, maybe a little bit crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a questionability of mental illness and a lot, especially Chuck Crossland. But he wants to be on our podcast. We haven't had him on yet, but we'll have to get him on here again soon.
Next time you see Chuck, ask him what he calls Canadians.
Okay.
Oh boy, well, this is recorded, so
you'll get
one of the other things that you need to take into consideration for when you go to King of the Hammers, you can prepare the car, you can prepare yourself mentally, you can do the shopping list for your chow for the whole week. But one of the big unknowns is what the weather's going to be like during that time you're on the lake bed. It's going to be, you need to prepare for everything because you never know what's going to, it could be rainy, it could be snowing. There's been snow, rain, wind, hot,
no
cold.
W. Don't say any, you don't say W down
there.
Don't
say
W. No W.
Yeah. Well, that's, that's when I found your podcast. That's why, because, I'm driving around a lot. So I just searched King of the Hammers podcast. And I found your guys' podcast, so I looked at all the ones getting ready for King of the Hammers and everything.
Oh yeah.
And just driving around listening, I was pulling over, writing stuff down.
Oh shit!
I'm like,
that's funny.
I got to think about that, and I got to think about this, And based on you guys, we're staying an extra day and pulling out Monday because
hell yeah, there you go.
That's the money call right there. That's really
don't
game
tell
changer.
everybody that tip. Don't tell
everybody will be.
Well, you can always leave a day early. So
that's right.
If you say
so
Monday, nobody's going.
I was going to ask you, when are you getting down there? When do you plan on arriving on the lake bed?
So we're going to pull out January 18th. From here,
okay,
at night, and drive all through the night and the next day. So we're hoping to get down there in 3-4 days in the longest.
Okay, so that puts you. Yeah,
there's three of us driving 2 trucks down. I'm bringing my motorhome down with the enclosed trailer that's got all the spare parts and kind of lounge area.
Sure.
And then my brother-in-law and my nephew are driving my pickup truck. With a trailer with the side-by-side and the race truck on it.
Okay.
So we're coming down. And then the following week, my other brother-in-law and a good friend of ours, they're coming down with 2 rigs that we're going to pre-run the rocks with.
Oh, good.
So I'm not gonna pre-run the rocks in my race truck. I don't.
Oh, good call.
Good call.
Yeah. I'll run the desert. Hopefully find any, gremlins that are sitting there running the desert loop. But I also want to feel what that desert feels like in my truck.
Yes. And I've talked to numerous racers about, pre-running the rocks and stuff. I mean, you need to know where you're going to go and stuff. And most people that are pre-running the rocks are looking for alternate lines. If somebody gets wadded up and the plaque line or whatever it is, right? Numerous sections. What are my alternates? What are some outs? Because as you saw, the trails change. The rock trails change with every freaking car that goes over them. So, you can't be as calculated as you can in the desert of okay, here, this is a wide open area. I'm going to just freaking hammer to the floor to where, looking where these washes come in and, hey, this is a possible G out. We're going to slow down, check it up, whatever. But,
And, rolled over truck will change every line.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
One thing I've always been pretty good at, even trail riding, is seeing lines. So, that's probably my biggest strength I have.
Good.
But so our biggest downfall is we've never raced with GPS. Never marked anything. Never done that. So, I mean, that's still pretty intimidating. We'll see how that goes.
Well, that's your co-driver's problem. He needs to figure that shit out. Brian does. So, or Chris.
I told Chris that when we were going across the lake bed 9 wide when we were down there for the weekend in dust, and we're in a Can-Am Defenders at that point, so we weren't exactly out front.
No.
I looked over at him. I said, "This is the part where it's your job to keep us alive."
Yes, exactly. And there are some great people that understand the track, and Chris Ray comes to mind that has helped out a lot of people with the GPS stuff. So I definitely, if you haven't spoken with him, look him up, get in contact with him. I got his info if you need it.
Yeah,
and he could help shorten that learning curve on the GPS stuff.
Is that the Cardo Tracks guy?
No, Carter Tracks
No.
is Jake White.
Jake White.
Jake
okay.
White, yeah, Jake from State
Okay.
Farm, we call him. But no,
I've heard Chris Ray's name.
Chris
Yeah.
Ray's,
before.
he's like the career right seat dog.
he's the
dog.
he's
Okay.
career wrong seat. Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
no.
and there's
We like
there's a
Chris.
girl down there that does them too. I forget her name, but
That's right. Okay, so yes, but
we
yeah,
met her
we'll
at
talk
Off-Road
about
Expo.
yes, we'll talk a little more offline. But
Yeah.
we got a couple contacts for you that would help
Sure.
help Chris out.
So we've had lots of offers to help because we're running the new Garmin, and everybody seems
Okay.
to want to play with that. So
That's cool.
We'll
That's
see how
cool.
that goes. It's yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
that'll be good. You
the
get down there.
slightest- The simplest thing, like just even how to mark stuff. Like we had no
Yes.
idea, and then like I literally had to stop one of the presenters and go, hold on a second. How do we get these notes? Like how are we entering the notes while they're driving? They're like, well, you got to write them down and then enter them later. Like, okay, that's good information to know.
That's good to know.
You know, and
Yeah.
then a couple of them look at you like, what is going on? And, you know, I said to them, I said, okay, if I invite you up to Ontario in February for a snowmobile race and you've never been on a snowmobile and you've never been into Canada, and I told you it was 250 miles and we're going to pound through the roughest terrain you ever seen, I said, how prepared would you be?
Right.
You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly
in
right.
that's the realm we're working with, you know.
And winter's a whole nother aspect. Snow. I snowmobile just as recreational stuff here. I don't do anything crazy, but it's that's a whole nother element because you're dealing with freezing cold weather and everything else. Where these rock trails, at least you're not going to freeze to death out there. Well, maybe in Spooner Canyon, but that's another idea. But no.
No, what happens at Spooners stays at Spooners.
We'll
we
get
heard that
down there
story when
early.
we were down there.
Yeah, you heard that. Yeah, isn't it great? There's so much. It's so freaking good. I am not. I didn't think I was going to like that area as much as I really do. I still prefer the Sierras and trees and granite and stuff. But man, the Hammers is so freaking cool in its own right, and
Sure.
and you have to respect it because. That terrain is no freaking joke, and
Yeah, it's-
especially going at race speeds.
It's barren, but it's beautiful out there.
It
You
is.
get up
It
the
is.
mountaintops and stuff. But I took some panoramic pictures up there and sent them home.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody said, "Oh, it's so nice there." I'm like, "Yeah, when you're not trying to race through it, it's beautiful." But
It is. It's so.
You know?
Yeah, that's why everybody like you need to go race. No, I have fun recreating out there, and I have a freaking ball going out and pre-running with some of these racers. Excuse me. Earlier in the week, like when you guys get there and stuff. If we can hook up and pre-run together, that'd be freaking awesome. But I love that aspect of it, and then to be able to just park the buggy and watch the race, on the weekend. That's a lot of fun for us. And then staying afterwards, and I got to run some of the race course after the Sunday after the race. And man, the trenches that were dug in and everything, it was cool to see the course after, all the big boys ran through the 4400s. So
yeah, and then the trophy trucks are chewing the desert.
Oh, my
I was a little
God.
worried. We run a 40-inch Maxxis Trepador, and we've always run those up here. Like they hook in the wet, they hook.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little worried about them. Just I didn't know how they perform in the desert at that kind of speed. But from all accounts, everybody said it's a good tire and
Yeah.
run it. And we used to be part of the grassroots program, so we got some hanging
That's
around.
cool.
So
Good.
that's what we're going to run and see how they work. But
how'd
in
you get
in the
connected
rock,
with?
they've been great.
Yeah, how'd you get connected with TMR? I know they're up there in Canada and stuff, but they make some killer stuff.
So yeah, TMR Customs in 2009, all our rock crawling venues had fallen apart, and in 2008, I started building basically a competition 2-seat crawler.
Okay.
It was small. It was built to sit in for 15 minutes. It had a Rhino hood on it, and it was 6 inches longer than a Rhino and 2 inches wider with a small block 350 in it. And then I had, it was real small. You sat in it like a go-kart. And then I put 2 front axles out of a John Deere tractor in it.
Oh
so
my
I had
gosh.
4-wheel steer with 65-degree steering.
I was going to say the articulation on tractor axles is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes all the load off all the driveline with the planetaries, right? They're 16-1 in the differentials.
Uh-huh.
So we could just run a Dana 300 and a turbo 350 with a TBI 350 motor. So I was building that, and we had a forum board up here at the time that we were doing, and TMR was on it and asked if they could advertise.
Oh, cool.
And I said, I'll make you a deal. I need a custom set of rims that fit planetary axles and double bead locks. And so we worked that out. They advertised on the site. They were just getting started at that point. So I was the first driver they ever sponsored, and we've been doing stuff ever since. So
Awesome.
Oh,
it's
wow.
pretty
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. No, I love their products. So that's cool.
they're racing this year too. They're in
Yeah?
the rookie program. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were down there with us. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
That
Tim
is
and
so
Mike
cool.
from TMR
There'll be a lot
Customs.
of
They're
new
running.
faces.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot down there, and there's such a wide range of rookies. They call, we're all called rookies. Some of us are real rookies, and then there's a guy down there. He wheeled the rock trails. He had his truck with him. His name's Tanner McGrath. He's got a Toyota, and it's his first race he's ever run at all.
Oh boy.
And that's what he's doing. So, but
Right on.
he wheels the rocks. He wheeled every rock trail. He knows the truck. So, I mean, I'm like, what
There
a
you go.
first race to jump into. And then you got guys like Glenn Page is from Ontario up here. He just finished 11th in national points. So
good.
it's his first year running Ultra 4. And then there's people like A.K. Watley bought Martin Barkey's MBRP truck. So he's raced all kinds of off-road, just never raced King of the Hammers, and he just finished 8th in Havasu. So, there's such a varying degree of drivers. One of my favorite is, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Dirt Princess on Instagram.
Dirt
No.
Princess? No.
Yeah, her name's Peyton. She's 13 years old.
Ooh.
She just finished 3rd in national points in Ultra 4 in the side-by-side class with her dad as a
No
co-driver.
kidding.
Yeah. She does her own race prep, does all the work to the truck. She's phenomenal, and it's pretty cool. I said when I was talking to her, I said, I just hope I'm out of this sport before you get into a big car. Just be blowing by me everywhere.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The young ones, it seems like they just have no fear. They just send it, and
Well, we were talking to her dad, and that's what I said. Is it unnerving getting in with her as a co-driver? And he's like, not so much, because she does the prep, so she doesn't want to break it.
Oh, really?
So she's fixing the car, getting it ready for hammers right now. So she does all the race prep on the car and rebuilds everything. So I could see why you could get in with her, but they said, you get some of the other young kids and they're full send and checkers or wreckers, and away it goes.
Well, I mean,
Right.
that's impressive. I mean, hearing what you just said about her, it's like those are real life skills right there that she's learned at such a young age, and that's awesome. That's real good stuff.
She's right between Peyton, Dirt Princess. You guys should get in touch with her.
She's so DeBurs, Amber, that drives the Samurai, is following her. DFF
Yeah.
Fab, there's a bunch of people following. Okay, I'm following her right now.
Yeah, she's right between
Sweet.
my two daughters.
Okay.
My daughters are 14 and 12, and I'm like, oh man,
She's got a side-by-side.
bugging me. Yeah,
Is
And
she,
she
she's
finished-
gonna be, she's gonna be at KOH.
Yeah,
she's gonna run
racing.
the desert.
Yeah, that's
She's gonna run the
awesome.
desert. So at KOH, she's running the. They're having a junior race,
Okay.
Right.
and that's what she's gonna run. So
Sweet.
but I would imagine you'll see her in the big race before too long. I mean,
Right.
she finished 3rd in national points in Ultra
Right
4.
on.
So
Right on.
yeah, consistent. And just she's super intelligent,
No doubt.
hardworking young woman. So it was pretty impressive to talk to her for a little bit.
Yeah, I bet. That's yeah. Well, I mean, to me, doing the rookie program. I mean, all the out of everything of learning from the drivers and being down there, but being able to be with your peers, right, fellow rookies, and meeting these people and going through this stuff together. Those are going to be bonds that you guys are going to have a lifetime. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, we're there's guys down there. We're already trying to make sure we can pit near and stuff, and sharing internet, sharing generators, sharing whatever we can.
Perfect.
And like from what I've seen of the rookie program, like I don't think there's not a rookie in there that you couldn't ask for help.
Sure.
So really, you're on the lake bed with hundreds of thousands of tools and resources, and all these people that are willing to jump in. Like obviously, we all got to be ready for our own race, but I don't think anybody's gonna not try and help as much as they can to get someone through.
You're not totally alone.
No,
you're not on an island.
Yeah, like you might have a 50-person pit crew when you get down there. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So yeah, I was trying to figure out how many people are you bringing down with you?
So currently, I am bringing 7 down with us.
Okay.
So five that are driving down, bringing rigs and everything, and then a couple that are just going to fly down the week of the race.
Okay.
Got it.
But our crew wheeling, like, we're the crew that people come find in the bush when there's nothing that you can fix, and we figure it out. I mean, we've come home with duct tape, fan belts, and everything else. So I always said, my pit crew. Remember when Junkyard Wars was on?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's the pit crew I'm bringing.
Okay.
There
cool.
you go.
Cool.
I always say if you gave them a riding lawnmower and a TV tower, you'd have a helicopter. That's what I
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, car 1955. Is there a story with that number? What you said you had to work at that a little bit.
Yeah. So Courtney Pro, she had to email her the number request she had, and I've always had number 17 or 171 or 1717, something like that. 17's just been a number I've had playing hockey and everything my whole life. So I tried every combination with a 17 in it I could, and they were all taken. So then, and what I didn't realize is last year there was 1,000 competitors at King of the Hammers across all classes.
Right.
So all those numbers go in. So you're trying to, find a number within those.
Right.
So after about 20 tries of different numbers and stuff, I put 1955 was the last one I put down, and the company I run, it's my family business, and it was started in 1955.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
that's cool.
That's awesome.
It was kind of a last ditch effort, but it's cool. It worked out that way.
It worked out good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good little homage to the family company there. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Right on. So, Jamie, man, we covered a lot of stuff here. Is there anything else? Give a shout out to anybody, people that are helping support you and getting you to KOH 2024.
I think you need to give a big shout out to customs and the border crossing people in Canada.
That's right.
There's going to be a lot of stuff coming across the border early next year.
Yeah. A lot of parts flying this way right now.
That's right.
I bet.
Yeah. Like I guess one of the main things I'd want to leave people with is if you're thinking of doing KOH at all, and the rookie program's an option, get enrolled. It really is the best way to get started. You're not going down there, just blind. I realize some people wheel there a lot and everything, but if you're coming from somewhere far away and you can't get there, it's invaluable to me. But yeah, so I would get in the rookie program. And then as far as our team, obviously TMR Customs and Radflow Suspension, we want to thank them. And then Next Gen, we're working with them on some safety gear. We're going to run their new Air Max seats. So might put a little air conditioning in there, see how that goes.
Ooh, nice.
And then we got a local guy, the welding shop that does all our work on our trailers and everything. He's going to make sure they're ready to go and everything. And then our family business is Patty's Market, which is retail appliances, barbecues and stuff. So just lots of stuff going on to help us. So yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, so we'll be running a few traggers and stuff down there in our pit.
Oh, okay.
So if you're looking for food, come on down.
Well, yeah, our camp's known for. We have a whole tent set up, a pit tent we had last year. And that was our mess hall, man. We had full. We fed 55 plus people every night.
We do KOH
down there.
right.
Yeah, we don't mess around. You're definitely got to come into our camp. We'll set you up with some chow and any kind of libation you can imagine, other than whiskey
Fireball.
with sugar in it.
I heard
Fireball.
I heard Ian Johnson talking to you guys about a Texas Mickey. Maybe I'll bring one of those down for you.
There you go. Do that. Bring that on down. We love it. We'll try anything once. Well,
Yeah, once.
almost anything. Almost
Well,
anything.
yeah.
But no, we
That's
have
a big
we have
asterisk mark next to that.
It is. It is. It's a fun camp. I'm looking forward to meeting you and your team in person,
For sure.
and the other fellow rookies that are going to be out there together at this rookie compound.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to circle back and follow up with you guys on the lake bed. Looking forward to that, and hopefully it's all smooth travels to the lake bed, and the car's dialed, and you guys
sure.
can. You're definitely going to have a freaking, fun. It's going to be one of those, lifetime experiences that you're going to go, yeah, I'm so glad we freaking made this thing happen.
Once in a lifetime till next year.
Yeah, till next year. That's why I was careful. I didn't want to say once in a lifetime because hopefully there's many more. But
Exactly.
yeah, it's just cool to experience that and to be on that. As you know, you've been on the lake bed during the race, and it's just electric, man. It's
Absolutely. The energy's crazy.
oh my gosh, yeah, it's so good. And just as us as spectators and our little bit of media stuff that we do, it's so much fun. We look forward to it, and we don't have to do nearly the prep that you guys do. And traveling 50 hours to get there.
Yikes.
Holy hell. So, yeah. Yeah, hats off
that's
to
if
you
the
guys.
weather's good.
Right?
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
No, there'll be some nice
Exactly.
weather days, and there'll probably be elite one. I'm not going to say it. Never mind.
No. But so I do have to ask, what are your tow rigs that are heading down in the motorhome and stuff?
I'll complete the circle here. We're running a bunch of Duramaxes down there.
Oh, okay, there you go. You got the Chevy. Okay, you're representing Chevy. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, we got my motorhome's got an 8.1 Chevy in it, so that one's going
Yeah.
to be doing some work. But
Okay.
Big boy.
yeah, we got a Kodiak, Monroe
Okay.
Kodiak crew cab,
Good.
C5500 coming down, and then I got a brand new Duramax High Country. So
Oh, cool. Right on.
Nothing crazy, no toters or anything, but
No,
we'll
but-
get the job done.
There you go. Absolutely.
Do what you got to do.
Four-wheel drive
If
is-
one of them quits down, we'll bring in a full insurance rental with us. So we'll see how that goes.
Just send it.
yeah, rolling in with a U-Haul or something.
If you see a way too small a motorhome hauling a way too big a trailer, you know something of ours broke.
Something went wrong somewhere.
But that's the story of King of the Hammers right there. Jamie, thank you so much for being on the
Yeah.
show. This was awesome. Glad to meet you. Look forward to seeing you on the lake bed.
How do
Absolutely,
they get a
man.
hold of you? What's your IG and everything? Give your social.
So if they go to Instagram or Facebook, THOR Motorsports, and then same thing on our YouTube is THOR Motorsports. If they search that, they'll find us.
Cool.
Okay, right on. So, now we got to get into how you got the name Thor.
I was going to ask.
That's like the god of thunder, right? Is that what that is?
so
Mythological
No.
god of thunder?
it's actually an acronym. So back when I was beating on trucks pretty hard and driving blindly into mud holes, I gained the nickname Throttle Happy.
Throttle
So-
happy. Okay.
So then when we did our forum sport, it was Throttle Happy Off Road. So it's
There
just
you
got
go.
shortened to Thor. And that's it's
Oh,
just
that
stuck.
works.
Yeah.
I like it. Throttle happy off road. Yeah.
That is
No,
great.
all the racers I met, it really is not a throttle. It's an on-off switch. It's all the way to the floorboard or all the way up. So yeah, that's good. I can relate.
Brain off, throttle on, right?
That's a good one. Right on, Jamie. Well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. I know you guys are a few hours ahead of us there, and you're probably a few degrees colder than we are right now, too. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It was great catching up with you, and definitely looking forward to seeing your race program on the desert floor at KOH 2024.
Holy smokes, it's right around the corner.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And we don't even have a car to put together, Chris.
No, we just got to get our shopping list put together.
That's right. We got to figure out our shopping list. That's our big thing. All right, Jamie, man. Thanks, and we'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it a lot.
Thanks. Okay, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that interview with Jamie. What an interesting fella. He can't wait to see him and his team down on the lake bed at King of the Hammers 2024, which is just around the corner. Just, oh my God, it's crazy how the year is flying by. And right now, when this episode drops, we're going to be looking at basically, I think, less than 2 months from the lake bed when the racing starts with King of the Hammers. So yeah, obviously we'll circle back, as we mentioned that episode. We'll meet up with Jamie and his crew and do some more follow-ups with him and get an update on how the cars, how the prep on the car went, and hopefully everything's going well when they when they make their long journey from Canada down to the lake bed in late January of next year. So anyway, moving on. Hope you enjoyed that interview. We got a lot of other things to do. Currently, we've got. Oh, like I just mentioned, this is dropping the week a few days before Thanksgiving, so I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and hopefully you're all going to enjoy a wonderful meal or get together with your family and friends, and drink responsibly, everybody, because the police like to do maximum enforcement around this time of the year. So that's a little PSA from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. Please drink responsibly, have fun with your friends and family, and keep it safe. Yeah. All right. Also, I want to make a quick reminder that the prints for the fundraiser to help Justin Wicks rebuild his car so he can be down on the lake bed for King of the Hammers also. Reminder that we have those numbered prints. They're up for sale on the website. The link for the sale on that is in the show notes for this episode and for the previous episode. So please click on the link there and show your support for Justin. As we said before, these are numbered prints that the art was created by Monica O'Leary, a wonderful artist that's very, very talented. And 100% of the proceeds that we raise is going to be given to Justin so he can help rebuild that car, pay for the rebuild. Also, yeah, I'm going to continue with the holiday theme here. So also on our website, we have merch, and you want to get those orders in if you want to buy a hoodie, a hat, a beanie, whatever. We have stickers and whatnot. This is the time to do it. T-shirts, holidays are coming. You want to get those orders in early so we can get those things shipped out to you so you can put them under the Christmas tree for your loved ones. If you're gifting out, that'd be awesome. And then... yeah, how do you get a hold of us? Well, I'm alone right now. Jason is, I don't know where Jason is, but that's okay. He was there for the interview. But you can get a hold of us by the Instagram. You can do at Wheeling Wine Whiskey, or you can get a hold of me, which is at www.chrism. That's my Instagram. I don't mention it very often, but I'm doing it now. And then, of course, you can reach us. You can call us and leave a voice message at 408-800-5169. That's, again, is 408-800-5169. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll play it on the air. And then also you can email us at chris@wheelingwinewhiskey.com or jason@wheelingwinewhiskey.com. We love to get emails. We read everything, and sometimes we even respond. Also, if you like the show and you like what you're hearing, and you spread the word, tell your friends. But also, what's very important is if you go into Apple Podcasts and you give us a review, a 5-star review, and write a nice friendly review about the show, what you like about it, and then DM Jason at Wheeling Wine Whiskey on the IG. And we'll get you a sticker sent out as quickly as possible. I know that we're pretty current on that stuff right now, so that's awesome. All right. Well, I don't know. There's not a whole lot else. That was a great episode, great interview with Jamie. I look forward to meeting him on the lake bed face to face. And then just one last thing. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Celebrate and have fun. And we're out.